Okay, so hi everyone for the developer sync meeting of August for the Flatcar team. Yeah, friendly reminder that we follow the code of conduct of the CNCF. If you have any questions or want to interrupt the developer sync, just raise your hand and ask your questions. Okay, so we have a few folks here, so I think it will be a quick meeting, but let's follow the agenda as usual. You should see my screen. If not, please let me know. Okay, so yeah, let's start with the monthly contributions review. Adrian, do you want to take it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's give a round of applause to Adrian Berger. He contributed a very important fix for Cilium into the Linux kernel. It was about a configuration that was needed for a feature of Cilium. Another great contribution was the inspector gadget to the C6 bakery, which will be very important to debug and to see what happens in the Kubernetes environments deployed on Flatcar. And there was another contribution by Niklas related to a update engine Rust documentation. Thank you all for contributing. Let's hope that we get more contributions from you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
There seemed to be like some news or announcement point that we skipped over.
Yeah, it's the usual.
But that sounds like really old news.
It's not old; it's still accurate, but it's been like 1 year that we saying it. But yeah, if you want to use a system group V1, please use the LTS now because the current stable has dropped the support. So that's the scary announcement.
I remember we were talking about that like months ago. So okay.
Yeah. But thanks for the heads up anyway.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so yeah, thanks for the first-time contributors, and we can have a look now to the advisory and the security. If Dongsu is around, do you want to take the mic? Well, Dongsu is not here.
Yeah.
Well, Krejimir, maybe you can talk about the few CVEs that you fixed in the recent.
So there was a bit of a slow progress recently with the weekly update, so there weren't many fixed. But I think the recent ones were fixed were the NVIDIA drivers and the Python security issues. So these are fixed in main. I haven't been tracking recently what were the security issues, but probably more fixes will come next week because it will probably accumulate like fixes from last 3 or 4 weeks. So more of them will come.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah, as usual, it's the summer, so most of the time it's a bit calm in terms of security issues for those concerned software. But yeah, thanks a lot as usual for driving this weekly update.
What does that time to close mean? Does that mean we fixed IP utils in 23 seconds?
Let's have a look.
Oh yeah,
yes.
because I did that. Like Dongsu didn't know that it was already fixed, so he reported it after the fact. Yeah, I am fast.
But yeah, this is interesting to see the statistics, and I've just discovered that you have access to some statistics in another place as well. Let me show you here on the Linux Foundation website.
Oh, we have excellent health score.
So this is some some metrics that's quite interesting to see. So of course there is a bad mark, a bad note regarding the organization dependency because most of the maintainers are from Microsoft. But yeah, we have active contributors and stuff like that, so that's quite interesting. and you can also browse the contributors and some statistics. So we can see that Cloudbase and Microsoft are in the top contributions. So yeah, if you want to have a look from time to time, it's quite handy. I just discovered this earlier while preparing this meeting.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember Tilo not showing this one. Maybe it's a fresh thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's continue with the agenda. So we did the security. So I think we will skip a few of those items. So the roadmap, composable OS, secure boot. So Cyan, I'm not sure if you still have some issues with your mic. Okay, secure boot is working slowly. So at least we have an update. The CNCF incubation process. So we opened a lot of issues on the Flatcar issue tracker regarding this topic. We got this meeting 2 weeks ago, maybe, where we've been through the incubation process. What was the missing requirements and everything. So it went well, and yeah, we are doing some good progress on this topic as well, thanks to Jon and to Lexi that are working on this. For the infrastructure status, as usual, we're waiting from the CNCF to get the new infrastructure provider. But yeah, in the meantime, we're doing some experiments and preparing everything to move away from Equinix Metal and to redo the old infrastructure. So yeah. On the Nebraska side, Erwin is not here today, but I know that we are planning a release in the next day for Nebraska. So yeah, feel free to have a look to the current staging deployment, and if you have any...
the one news is what is linked there. The OIDC refactor has landed. Probably has some breaking changes.
But it's not yet merged, right?
I think it is merged, but it isn't yet released.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember like him updating the pull request and probably merging, unless I got confused.
Let me quickly see, because yeah, this is a breaking change. So Nebraska.
I really honestly don't remember what was. Oh, it isn't yet. Okay, so
yeah, so it's
I just
still
need to
under
have a
review.
look at the pull request again because I was reviewing it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, because it's quite a huge PR and it touches a lot of things. But yeah, so the next Nebraska release won't ship this change, I think. So
I don't know when the release of Nebraska is planned, but that's probably something that could land this week.
Okay, because
yeah, it depends on Erwin, right? I
Yeah.
can review it like probably tomorrow, but I don't know how Erwin, because Erwin is busy with this staged. How did he call this feature? Like staged updates or something like that.
Multi-steps.
Oh yeah. So I don't know how much time he will have to well go back to that pull request.
Yeah, let's see. But I think that would be awesome to have it merged, but having it in staging for a moment, like so we can run some tests and everything before it lands on stable release.
Oh, okay. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's it for the Nebraska side. Let's go back to the agenda. And we have the release, I think. It's the release planning is after. Okay, so it's open mic time. I know that Krzyzimir wanted to discuss about something.
Oh yeah. So that was related to NVIDIA drivers update. That we are. So we have like two ways of getting NVIDIA drivers on Flatcar. One is this NVIDIA driver service. This is the old thing that we have. I mean, we updated so it can pull the newer version of drivers, but this is the first one. I think Cyan wrote it. Basically, some service that downloads and installs the NVIDIA drivers and stuff. And the second one is we have NVIDIA driver SysX. So you can use that, and we provide several versions of those. They are versioned by the major version of the NVIDIA driver. So we have 3 right now, which is 535, 550, and 570, if I remember correctly. And 535 is probably going to be supported for like 9 months or something like that, because this is an LTS. 570, I think it's going to be, I think it only has like security support for some short time, because it's not an LTS, it's something like production branch or something like that. But 550 got expired, it's not supported anymore. So Gentoo basically removed the e-builds. So when I was updating the NVIDIA drivers, like doing the weekly updates, and the e-builds were updated, 550 was removed. And the building Flatcar images failed and so on. So for now, as a workaround, I kind of brought that e-build back. But the question is, this is an old driver, and it doesn't have any security support. So and I think it has some vulnerabilities right now. So I don't know what is right now the policy of like, okay, so this is an old driver, what do we do with it right now? Because like we can just, I don't know, drop the SysX or like replace it. Okay, so we have 550 now, NVIDIA released 580, so maybe we can add 580. But there's still a question, what do we do with old version of SysX? We probably won't keep them forever. But the catch is, if someone is using 550 and then they want to update to a newer Flatcar version that will not provide the 550 version of the SysX, then the update will fail, because it will detect, I think, in the post-install phase that, oh, the SysX is missing, or probably downloading resulted in 404, and yeah, update fails and they will roll back. So I guess that we need some kind of, I don't know, policy with the SysX, like what, because right now we only had somewhat stable SysX, right? Okay, this is Docker, this is Incus, this is this, and we just update them to the newer versions. But we didn't have previously like branches SysX that are basically coming and going away. So for now, I reintroduced this old version, but I think that what is the expectations like with the SysX? So we can basically, I don't know, announce that, okay, so with the next stable version, this SysX and this SysX will be gone, and they will be, I don't know, replaced with something else. I'm not sure what is here the way forward. So just to make sure that users of stable Flatcar with NVIDIA SysX can actually update, to the new stable with some newer version of SysX. I don't know what are the steps that you could do.
Just to add to that, in our earlier discussions, I think adding some code in the post-install script would be easy enough. It's not particularly tidy, but it's no worse than some of the other stuff we've got in there.
Post-install script is not really nice.
The question is, do we force users to upgrade or downgrade? The suggestion from Gentoo was it probably depends on what hardware you have, and that's very difficult for us to figure out.
Yeah, that's something that users should decide, because like I remember Jeremy saying that some users are like pinning this exact version of the driver, not even the latest patch release of the Sentinel branch. They want to use some older one because they know it works, and the newer version breaks or whatever. So this NVIDIA driver situation is a bit finicky. So that probably should be a decision to be done by the user of Flatcar. But how you can do it at the time of update, I don't know.
Just to be clear, the older version is still supported as well. It's not the case that there's now a new minimum version. That's you can still downgrade and it's supported. I guess maybe we could just stop the upgrade with a more informative message than, it broke. Similar to the C groups message, I suppose. And then the user just has to decide at that point what they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if the user, for example, but this at this point it switches a bit to a technical discussion. Like, okay, the user decides to upgrade. Okay, I'm not going to use 550. I'm going to use 570 or something, or 580 or something like that. Then probably we will need to have like a really nice message or some really useful steps how to actually achieve that. So he just types one command and just then the update basically goes smoothly with updating or downgrading the NVIDIA drivers, like in the post-install script or something like that. Matteo?
Yeah, maybe it's a dumb question, but I'm not familiar with NVIDIA drivers. But can't we just ship the latest version? It does not cover all the hardware. I mean, why do we need to bother maintaining two versions of NVIDIA
three
drivers?
actually.
3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Question to Daniel.
Yeah, from what I understood from Jeremy, he basically said that some older GPUs only work with some older versions of the drivers. So if you use like the latest one, then it can happen that your hardware won't work with that version.
Yeah. So yeah, my idea was that NVIDIA basically has this three kinds of branches for the drivers, LTS, new feature branches or something like that, and production branches. So 535 and 580 are, if I remember correctly now, the LTS branches. 570 was a production branch. I think 550 was also a production branch, but it got expired. So maybe a suggestion could be that we could basically ship only the LTS driver, but that probably means a long break between new versions. Cyan is writing something. Just going to read. Yeah, he's something about building an offline system for a group of physics. That's why what we are trying to discuss how to handle that.
Yeah, maybe we could like create aliases for those three branches that you mentioned. Like the sysax would be called like NVIDIA-LTS, and then we would just create symlink to the concrete version in the release like release server. Yeah, and
so you mean like
using that way,
NVIDIA drivers LTS, NVIDIA drivers like old LTS, and those.
Oh, I mean like just having NVIDIA drivers LTS, NVIDIA drivers production, and like the version could potentially get updated between the Flatcar versions. So, for example, when
so not versioned explicitly, but something like channels we have with the Flatcar.
Yeah, and the user would like kind of like agree that you can bump my NVIDIA drivers version as long as it stays in the same range, and like I think take the responsibility.
Yeah, that's interesting because it allows to solve this issue, and if a user really wants a specific version, he can still target the specific version, not using the symlink.
I mean, if someone wanted a specific version, so this is what Cyan suggested. I say in the chat that basically they could use the NVIDIA drivers service, and there they can specify whatever version they want, and the SysEx could be always providing the latest at the time we actually built the SysEx.
Yeah, also there's one more thing. We are assigning all those modules for secure boot. So potentially if we would keep like an old version that is vulnerable and sign it using our secure boot keys, that might pose some trouble for us.
Complicated.
Like, I think we could potentially have some problems with the shim review or something if we are assigning known vulnerable code with our secure boot keys.
All right, I don't have any ideas right now, but I don't know. so the NVIDIA service that we have is not signing. I mean, yeah, obviously it's not signing because it's been done.
Yeah, it only works without secure boot.
Yeah.
Or we could potentially modify it to use some of your custom secure boot keys. But
Okay. I try to think about something. Maybe I probably will open an issue about it and just have something that we can have written down and you can see like what actually needs to be working, what some consideration that we need to take into account and stuff. All right, so I open an issue about that. Yeah, so that was the only thing from my side. If there is anyone want to talk about something else, then please do, because I have one more topic. Just pump it up. Oh, basically, I'm working on the PAM update right now, and it seems to be like this is something Chewy worked some time ago, I think.
Yeah, I was
but you got
gonna say.
swamped with work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something I started working on like over a year ago. I think I started working on that in February 2024, but then I found out, yeah, it's really messy, so maybe some other time. So I just figured now we have those pull requests with GLSA metadata coming up, and they're all blocked because we are using some old version of PAM. So now I'm trying to update it and move it to portage table, drop some modifications that we have, and figuring out how this PAM even works, because it wasn't really, Chewy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think just bumping it isn't actually that hard, but I was trying to do the same thing, tidy it up, move it, and that's where it got complicated.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it might not be that complicated in the end, because one of the complications that we had was that we have been moving the PAM configuration from /etc to /user, the usual Flatcar modification. And the complication here is that we have some sysexs that want to put some PAM config too into /etc, and I don't think our sysexs actually work with that yet. So the /user path for configurations was really handy, because you are modifying manually the sysexs that were put in configuration /etc, where you're moving it into /user, and now we kind of want to move it back. But I have been reading today some configuration, some documentation about PAM, and it seems like it is reading config from both /etc and /user. So that might be a way forward, actually, with moving and dropping all the modifications that we have, and still have things working.
That sounds like what I found. Part of the reason I got slowed down was because there were even discrepancies between Gentoo's config and Upstream's config, and I was trying to resolve the differences between Upstream, Gentoo, and Flatcar. So yeah, there's changes to make on the Gentoo side too.
Yeah, I need to look at that too. Yeah.
I've got IRC logs about this that I'll need to dig up to jog my memory. I could share that with you.
All right, cool. Yeah, so basically I was mentioning the working on PAM just to gather, like, if you have some experience with that, because like working on PAM is really icky, because like you get an image that doesn't boot and you can figure out what's wrong. So that's probably PAM. You can't even get some logs. So that's the thing I'm working right now on too. Just a short report. Also, the Linux is I'm also working on. I'm waiting right now on the CI to finish building. Right now, I am only installing like a bunch of new policies because I globally enabled the Linux use in Flatcar. That basically like put in more packages, but I haven't touched the relabeling yet. This is going to be probably the big step. But yeah, not much else to report. Yeah, I had hoped the build to be finished by now, but in Jenkins it mysteriously was killed. Like, I don't know, the builder was shut down or something. I don't know. So I had to notice and restart it. Yeah, so that's it from me.
For the LC Linux things, there is an open PR by Kai, like 2 years, 3 years old. If you want to base your work on this to relabel the /user and sysx image content.
Oh, I think I think I tried my hand at it one time. It was probably around that time ago, like 2 or 3 years. That obviously didn't work. Surprise. But yeah, I will certainly look into that. But first, I want to get those policies in, and then I have a look at the relay burning and all those issues that will inevitably crop up. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to add something on the open mic time?
Yeah, Adrian?
Yeah, I would like to add some. Can all can hear me?
Yep,
correctly. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been for the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to deploy OpenStack on Flatcar, on a Kubernetes based on Flatcar. And I observed some quite interesting issues, which are actually dev issues or configuration issues in Flatcar to make it work. So I've pasted in the chat something, link, where you can see that what I had to do is, for example, an old story with Flatcar and systemd, and we'll probably bump up into this issue for a long time and for a while. Once you try to do something, systemd network D comes and takes over the network cards, the network interfaces. So basically, with OpenStack, for example, systemd is configured by default in Flatcar to take over on the BRX OVS system all the TAN taps that OpenVSwitch and Nova creates and so on. So I think there are at least 2 or 3 issues on Flatcar, dash scripts or Flatcar that involve this kind of problem. So I think we can maybe think of a solution which is better, similar to what, for example, Ubuntu or other OSs do. Because it's not that nice to systemd to take over this, and the error is like you cannot see the error basically. I created the instance on OpenStack and there was no packet flows, so it took me some time to find the culprit because there are no dmessage errors, nothing. So this was one of the first thing. I think there's already an issue and a solution also proposed by Jeremy to basically add these into Flatcar. Of course, not ETH1 that I put there, but things like br minus / obvious minus / TAN taps and so on.
So I think that we have those rules like in the init repo or something. I don't remember exactly whether it was base layout or core init.
Yeah, there are some in the, I think, Pixie deployment or init, something.
Yeah, so I think that we have some files that are like matching some interfaces to be unmanaged or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, in init, exactly. Yeah.
So I think we can continue this discussion, but I wanted to put it a little bit more loud that we need to do something about it, because otherwise there will be a lot of issues. And the worst part is that there are nobody cries what happens there. Nobody says what's.
But this is like a generic Kubernetes issue, or this is like an OpenStack, like OpenStack is making those things.
So OpenStack via the Nova and LibVirt creates the so-called virtual virtual interfaces. And systemd tries to take over, and it takes over at the kernel level, and there are no packets flowing through those NICs, virtual NICs. And and if you put TCP dump on them, you see no packets, which is like because it's they are dropped at the kernel. Systemd probably calls an API, a kernel API, to take over those. And the processes from libvirt or QEMU or Open vSwitch are not allowed to actually see the packets, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's a kernel decision there, enforced by systemd.
So would be like a solution just to add to file a pull request to init to add those interfaces as unmanaged, so network just keep their hands off, or you can just do that because it complicates some other things?
Not really. I think the tunnels, the tabs, I don't think they have to be managed by systemd, right?
Chewy?
I wonder if this can be done with UDEV rules, because the interface names are a bit of a blunt instrument, and we might, match ones that we don't want to match.
These are created by OpenStack.
Okay.
So you cannot do UDEV rules on dev because they do not exist. I mean, they exist at some moment of time.
Yeah, but UDEV rules are always active. They're applied when the hardware appears in the system, and sometimes labels get applied, or you can match on certain attributes to say, more in a more detailed way than just the name. Like, yes, I want. And you can apply tags as well to tell systemd, like, do manage this or don't manage this. I don't know if this works for NICs, but I've seen it work for game controllers and stuff like that. So that's why I'm thinking it might be possible.
Yeah, I think OpenStack should be the only one, or Kubernetes should be the only one who takes care of that stuff. So adding UDEV rules, I mean, it's basically the same thing, because through UDEV rules, you have to still add some systemd matches, right? It does not matter. I mean, at the end, we will still have these kind of files, right?
I'm not sure. I don't understand the problem well enough, to be honest. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'll see what I can find out.
The only thing I'm trying to say is that we'll have issues in the future, because there was also the WireGuard. I think the last issue was with WireGuard and VPNs. Some user wanted to use Flatcar with WireGuard, and systemd was taking over the WireGuard interfaces. And
I remember probably added WireGuard stuff
the tunnels, and he had to do that, the TUN tap. So I think this is a generic problem and should be resolved generically. I will also take a look at Fedora and other.
That was about what I wanted to propose. Like, what other distros are
the thing is, we are using a very, 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 very updated systemd version. So yeah, maybe I'll look at the latest Fedora and see how they do it.
Yeah, that would be nice to see how they do it.
Yeah. The next part, to be short, the next thing is I've observed that, for example, when you deploy OpenStack with Helm on Kubernetes, it's doing something like chmod or chown on the dev KVM. But I saw that systemd or something, I'm not sure which entity, takes over the dev KVM at periodical intervals and changes again the ownerships, and you cannot create VMs, right? So I'm still not sure which is the culprit there, but I'm 99% sure it's systemd, but I don't know where. The systemd temp files, that service is usually creating those dev KVM, there are a few a few devices that are being created. So maybe if you have an idea, who can take over the dev KVM without leaving traces.
What is the change? Like it belongs
So,
to normally it should belong to the KVM group, right? But
yeah, but for example, OpenStack Helm requires something dev KVM to have certain ownerships, and it enforces them. But someone from the systemd or somewhere, it resets them back after a while. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to audit who's invoking change owner.
You can use inspector gadget and monitor the syscall on this to change ownership. And we do have a sysex of inspector gadget since 2 days now, so no excuse.
I ended up making a systemd timer and owning it at 5 seconds and problem solved. Because that entity does the same thing. So 100% the same thing it does. It just checks, oh, okay, something changed. And probably it's systemd, but I don't know which. Or there are no logs, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. These are my two findings that, so without this, OpenStack on Kubernetes doesn't work. On Flatcar. It works on Ubuntu or other OSs, but not on Flatcar.
Okay. I think you have filed those issues about those, so we can. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks. We'll do.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, let's quickly continue with the agenda if there is no other topic. So it's the release planning. Well, there is not so much to say actually. We did a release last week, a maintenance release. The most important things to know is that it was the latest of LTS 2023. It was the latest release for this LTS version. So yeah, if you did not yet move to the new LTS, please do. And we are planning a new release beginning of September, the second week of September, I think. And it will be a maintenance release as well for alpha beta stable channels for now. So that's it for the release planning. And last thing, I just seen that Cyan mentioned that this Friday, it's the maintenance mode. So during the whole day, we will go through documentation and issues to see if it's still up to date, if we miss some information on some issues, if we can close some issues, and so on and so forth. Yeah, feel free to join this day. It's quite fun, and if you want to pick up a topic, you can discuss with the maintainers and the contributors to find a good topic to start contributing to Flatcar.
I guess that you coordinate on Jitsi.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
We do coordination on Jitsi, but you can join remotely without joining the video call and just being around on the Matrix channel as well. But yeah, it's always nicer if you are in the Jitsi call. Personally, I'm not sure I will be able to join the video call, but yeah, I will let know you in due time.
Gotcha.
Okay. Anything else folks want to add before closing the meeting?
No, nothing comes to my mind.
Okay, so yeah, see you next month for the office hours, and see you on Matrix. Other than that, have a great day, great evening, folks. See you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.